You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.
Welcome to the Hot Options Report, your premier source for insight into the fast-moving options market. Each day, we'll track down the products that are dominating the options chains and impacting your trading account, from NVIDIA to VIX and everything in between. If it's lighting up the options tape, then you'll find it on the Hot Options Report.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the first full trading week of a hot new trading year. Yes, it is time once again to break down all of the options action. It is time for the Hot Options Report. My name, of course, Mark Longo from theoptionsinsider.com, as well as from the network upon which all of you folks were binging last year. Let's keep it up. Let's keep the fun flowing. New shows popped off last year. What will happen this year on the network? Got to stay tuned to find out. And of course, while you're checking things out online, make sure you check out our friends over there at Quick Options. It's just the Hot Options Report.com. Can't forget the name because it's the name of the show. And then, of course, you can't beat the data and you can't beat the price. The Hot Options Report.com. If you ran that, you would see that number 10 today on a decently active start to the first full trading week of the new year. Gets us to AMD number 10, 482,000 contracts on the tape. AMD coming back to earth a little bit today, bucking the trend because the markets were mostly green today. AMD selling off $2.39, a little over 1% to close, 221.08. And the hot option in AMD today, 25,000 of the 230 calls. Average price for these, about $3.42. These are expiring on Friday. You like these, listeners? Are you saying sold to you as we keep climbing to number 9? SoFi also climbing today, popping $1.82 or 6 2/3%, getting back almost everything that it lost in its big dilution from a few weeks ago, putting up 614,000 contracts for the number 9 spot, the hot option in SoFi today. I'm going to go out on a limb and guess it's probably the 30s, and that was the case. Jan 30s expiring on Friday. 27,000 of these changing hands today. Average price for these, 34 cents, listeners. Let's keep climbing. Let's see what else is on the list. Coming in at number 8 today, it's our old pal, Palantir, listeners. Palantir rallying today as well, getting back a lot of what it lost on Friday, closing 174 almost exactly, up about 618 or 3 2/3%, putting up 619,000 contracts for the number 8 spot today. The hot option in Palantir today, 27, nearly 28,000 of the 190s, going way up to the upside. Average price for these, 19 cents, expiring on Friday. Are you a buyer of those, listeners? Or are you screaming into your podcast player sold to you as we keep climbing to number 7, another name that was climbing today? It's our old pal, the Monster, aka Strategy. 164.72 is where it closed today, up $7.56 or nearly 5%, about 4.8%, putting up 629,000 contracts for the number 7 spot. We got a lot of weird flow in the Monster today, listeners, but the number 1 with a bullet trade out there today, nearly 25,000 of the March 160s. Average price for these, nearly $25, $24.19. That is opening flow, listeners. You like that? They are $4.72 in the money, so bear that in mind, listeners. But wow, wild flow in the Monster on a wild day. Let's keep climbing and see what else we have in store for us, listeners. All the way up at number 6, we got our old pals, the Amazonians. Amazon rallying today, $6.56 to close 233.06, up nearly 3% on the day, putting up 653,000 contracts. For the number 6 spot, the hot option in Amazon today, 32,000 of the 235s, just slightly out of the money calls, listeners. Average price for these, $1.57. These do expire on Friday. Are you buying those bad boys, or are you screaming sold to you as we keep climbing to number 5, listeners? It's our old pal, the Fruit Company. The Fruit Company, though, on a day when everything else was green, Apple selling off $3.75, closing $267.26. Interesting. Takes a lot to turn Apple red these days. Kind of interesting. Number 5, the fruit company, 665,000 contracts on the tape today, listeners. The hot option in Apple land today, 44,000 of the 270s. Expiring on Friday. Average price for these, $1.74. Looks like these possibly could have been overwritten as well, so maybe you like to pocket about $1.75 throughout the rest of this week, listeners, with a little bit of Apple upside. Let's keep climbing to number 4, shall we, listeners? It is one of our old friends we haven't talked about in a long time. This is New Holdings Limited, ticker symbol NU, NU. Popping out of Brazil, listeners. Popping hard today. $17.94 is where it closed, up 91 cents or 5.3%. Putting up 684,000 contracts for the number 4 spot. Doing over 15 times their ADV as well. So a hot day in New Holdings Limited. What was the hot option on a hot day in New? 55,000 of the 18 calls expiring not this Friday, but next Friday. Average price for these, 20 cents. I'm guessing this was earlier in the day, listeners. They're probably not going for 20 cents right now, but if you like them, maybe you want to take a nibble on the upside in New. This was potentially closing paper, so we'll keep an eye on this as we keep climbing to number 3. Another name that was climbing today, this is JPMorgan. Closing 334, pretty much exactly, up about $8.50 or 2 2/3%. Putting up 1.28 million contracts for the number 3 spot. Now, it wasn't that big move alone that drove the flow. Also going X-Div today, listeners. So that driving a ton of action out there. We know what happens when things go X-Div. Things get wild, including seeing a bunch of the Jan pars going up 172,000 times today for the number 1 spot in JPMorgan. Let's get away from that X-Div nonsense. Keep climbing all the way to number 2, Tesla, back in its usual spot, putting up 1.82 million contracts. So the number 2 spot, Tesla closing 451.67, up $13.60 or a little over 3, about 3.1%. So another hot day in Tesla land. The hot option today, nearly 65,000 of the 460s. Expiring on Friday, average price for these, $5.80. You know what you have to ask yourself. You want to buy those bad boys or sold to you as we keep climbing to the number 1 spot. Yep, our old pal NVIDIA taking the crown again. Selling off a little bit today. 188.12 off 73 cents or about 0.4%. Again, a weird day. Most major averages up strong on the day. Apple and Nvidia down. Kind of weird. Nvidia putting up 1.93 million contracts for the number 1 spot today. So somewhat light volume. For Nvidia, the hot option today, 124,000 of the 195s. Expiring on Friday, average price for these, $1.41. You know the drill. Gun to your head, you want to buy those bad boys, or are you hitting them with both hands? That's going to do it for us on the hot options today. Back again tomorrow with a whole bunch of fun content, including going back across the pond to Europe for the European market brief, as well as some awesome pro content. Make sure you're checking out the pro, theoptionsinsider.com/pro, if you'd like to learn more about all that fun stuff, including our upcoming Vol Deathmatch 2.0. And make sure you're checking out our friends over there at thehotoptionsreport.com to see all the data that doesn't make it onto the show. And then we're back again tomorrow after the closing bell, another episode of the Hot Options Report. Stay safe out there, everybody.
You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.